So, Cheketri Shihan, thank you for taking the time to be on the podcast. It's been really cool to have these conversations over the last wee while and to meet you. I'm going to start off with a real basic question. Your favorite Komodo weapon and why?
Gosh, that's a tough one. At the moment, the Ikubo is my biggest challenge. I'm trying very hard to basically handle it better. So I've been working quite a lot on that. I'm with the Dentokan group, and there's someone, Jason Gramling Sensei, who kindly puts up with me every Monday morning on Zoom and is helping me improve that. So I'm going to say it's my favorite at the moment because I'm trying to master it. I do love the kama. Kama is not something that the Okinawa can have as a weapon that they teach. So it was one that I started encountering about 2 years ago, and it's become my favorite. But then, of course, the nunchucks. I mean, you got to love the nunchaku. You look so cool doing nunchakus, don't you? So, yeah, I guess at the moment, those are my three favorites. I've been knocked in the head and on the head and everywhere else by those nunchakus. In fact, I remember being a teenager in my parents' kitchen and swinging a nunchaku and coming clean. Feeling quite dizzy. So yes, I hear your love-hate relationship.
The worst thing is when you had a sibling, and the only thing worse than having a sibling is when they go and tell your parents. It's a tragic story that I won't get into. You've been doing karate and kobudo and sort of on that road for a long time. We had a really interesting conversation a couple of weeks back about a book that I was very kindly gifted on a recent trip overseas about Stan Schmidt Sensei. So yes. I guess where I want to start is, who have been some of the people that have influenced your personal journey, either technically or in terms of your attitude, along your karate path thus far?
You know, I've been very fortunate. I have stumbled on people that when I started karate, I didn't even realize how great and incredible they were, and ended up training under them. So a lot of what's happened regarding my training has been a bit of luck. I started off as Shotokan. In fact, funny story here, I've always wanted to do martial arts from about the age of 4, and my parents said, no, not a chance. Not having our little daughter getting hurt. You may not do it. I took 10 years to nag them, and at the age of 14, they finally relented and said, fine, you can get started. And I joined up with dojo down the road, and it happened to be a Shotokan dojo. And my instructor at the time was Willie Zimmerman Sensei, and he was a student of Norman Robinson Sensei, Stan Schmidt Sensei, and Malcolm Dorfman Sensei. So that started my karate path, and I was with Shotokan for 8 years. So I had them influence me from that aspect. Then I moved across to the Goju side, and that put me on a journey which led to Teruo Chinen Sensei. And I can honestly say that Teruo Chinen Sensei has probably influenced my Goju and karate at large, has been the biggest influence in my life. I really believe he forged my technique, my ability, my understanding, my bunkai oyo, just everything, Hojo Undo. I was just taken on an incredible journey by being fortunate enough to basically meet Aubrey Peterson Sensei, who was my sensei in South Africa, who then was a student of Teruo Chinen Sensei. And then my journey led me to New Zealand. Teruo Chinen Sensei asked me to continue Jundokan International in New Zealand, and I had every intention of doing it, but having immigrated, being a school teacher, I just couldn't give it the time that it needed. And communication, international communication was difficult. So sadly, I didn't. That's probably something that, looking back, I wish I had. However, it did lead me along the journey of eventually becoming a student of Kiichi Nakamoto Sensei, which is a huge honor and privilege. And that started my real Komodo journey. He personally put a lot of work into my Komodo learning in the beginning stages, as well as his grandson, Takumagoshi Sensei, has put a lot of work into that. And that then got me in touch with a whole lot of people. It also got me in touch and built a really good relationship with some New Zealanders like Murray Simpson Sensei and Sen and Harry Sensei. And together we traveled to train with Kiichi Nakamoto Sensei, further developed our Kobudo. And in doing so, we also got to meet Neil Malapas Sensei. And that then took me on my Dentokan journey. And with Dentokan, it's been an incredible organization to be a part of. They further developed my Kobudo. They are also affiliated to Okinawan, but they don't just do Okinawan Kobudo. They do all sorts of different lineage, trying to keep it very traditional. And on that journey, I've learned a great deal from Neil Malapas Sensei through Zoom, having him here, hosting him in New Zealand, which then led me to Aikijutsu through the Dentokan, and now more recently, Iaidu also again through the Dentokan. So yeah, these are the people that have really influenced me in my martial arts and really helped me to develop as a martial arts person. And in doing so, I've gone through an incredible journey of personal development, learning, growth. Yes, so a lot of people influencing my life and my martial arts journey.
What is there a singular experience you had, or with an instructor, with an association, with an organization, or whatever, that perhaps influenced you in the sense that you were going, this is what I don't want to do? And I'm not talking naming names or organizations.
Yeah.
Were there experiences that you had where you're going, yeah, this is not the path, as opposed to this is the path that I want to go down, that kind of shaped your journey?
Yes. As a young teenager starting out, I adored my sensei. And, sensei said, and I did, absolutely. You didn't question, you didn't argue. And I was very lucky. Willie Zimmerman Sensei was a very good man, just a good person. And so that was fine in my teenage years. And all the people who I personally have been taught by, I've been very fortunate to have really, really good instructors. But over the years, I have watched and observed the impact certain people have on others. And my wonderful wife, who is a fourth dan, has also been part of the martial arts journey. And she has a very different take to, I would imagine, what most martial arts people do. She never, not from the beginning, and she only joined in her later years, so she was around 35, 36 when she started the martial arts journey. She used to sit back and say to me, why are people hurdling tables just to grab their sensei's empty glass to fill it up? Why? And I said, but it's the sensei, you have to. And she goes, yes, respect, absolutely. If you're walking past, sure, top it up. But, and I remember sitting in a situation around in South Africa, braai, good old barbecue, and that sort of thing happening. Oh, Sensei, can I get you this? Oh, can I take that from, can I do this for you? Oh, Sensei stood up, everybody run. And she sat back and said, what is everybody doing? Yes. And what are we doing? So I don't know, maybe that was the turning point for me to look at this and go, hang on, they're all wonderful, incredible. At that time, it was just men. All my instructors have been males. Wonderful, incredible men who have taught us a lot and grown and developed, etc. But what are we showing the younger generation here? Respect, yes, absolutely. Look after people, learn from those who have the knowledge, but it gets to a point where you don't want to have that God complex. And through the behavior of students, you can even subconsciously create that for a sensei. I have unfortunately encountered in later years instructors who have had that. I moved away quietly, calmly, and, luckily for me, have always managed to be with and learn from instructors who do not have that I say and you do. And I think there's a very fine line between the respect and growing and understanding and gaining the knowledge that you want from a teacher, and the power that a sensei can actually have over their students. And that is something that I think it is important for people to realize. Getting titles and going up in rank and everything is not about you having power over people. It is a responsibility. It's, first of all, it's an honor for anybody who has been given a title, that sort of recognition, especially by reputable organizations and instructors. They're given that. It's your responsibility. It's your responsibility to take care of the younger generation, take care of the junior grades, and you take care of them by, first, they've come to you to learn the art. So yes, you pass on that knowledge. You pass on that knowledge through your experience. So you start at the beginning. And I know sometimes students might say, well, why am I standing here punching yet again? As instructors, we know that's the basis. We got to get started with that. You got to get the correct first, the correct breathing, all the technique. We understand that. So for some students, it is quite frustrating, and especially little kids, I know it gets, they lose interest and get bored really quickly. So you do come from a place of knowing, and I think it's important to explain that to the students, and I think that they have a right to ask those questions. I know back in the 80s, you didn't dare. If your sensei said, stand in front of the mirror and punch 1,000 punches, begin, you did it. If they said, on your knuckles, someone climb on your back, do press-ups, you broke your body and you did it. I think we need to get away from that. And I think a lot of dojos and a lot of senseis have moved on from that, where it is okay for a student to ask and say, why am I punching 1,000 punches? I'm not sure someone on my back while I'm doing knuckle press-ups is really good for me. The other side is, as instructors, we also need to teach them the respectful way to approach this. And this doesn't just remain in the dojo, this goes out into society. You see the little ones and they go, what the? No, we don't say what the, we say, sensei, can you explain why we're doing this? Or sensei, this is hurting me. I'm not sure I'm comfortable doing this. That's absolutely fine. And they should be able to speak up, and they should be able to receive a reasonable explanation for why they're being asked to do what they're doing. The other sort of journey I've gone on personally is learning more and more about the anatomy, the sports science. I've actually sort of gone on a Pilates journey as well, and I've got a fabulous Pilates teacher whose two children have been doing karate and Komodo with me, and she's recently started Iaido. So it's great that we've got this relationship, but she's an incredible Pilates teacher who really has studied the anatomy. And through that, I have learned all sorts of things, which I am bringing into my dojo, all about the importance of engaging the lats, the serratus anteriors, the obliques, all that sort of thing. And the more I study that and learn from her, the more I understand the benefits of martial arts and the importance of the correct posture, the correct engagement, the correct breathing. So I think it is really, really important and a huge responsibility for anyone who teachers, whether they're a black belt assisting in the dojo or they're head of a dojo, they really need to have, first of all, a deeper understanding of the body, the benefits of whatever martial arts they're teaching. And then they also need to understand the impact they have on others. And little kids especially are looking for that hero. They're looking for someone who they want to be, whoa! And I get that all the time. Recently, I was teaching at a school, and they got to hear that I'm a martial arts instructor because one of my students happens to be at that school. And the class asked me, oh, can I teach them some karate? Can I teach them some Komodo? The school gave permission, and that became the sports session. And the first question they asked me, can you do a flying kick and can you do a 360 kick? And I said, what is a 360 kick? Start there. So the kids want that, and they want to know that you're just like, whoa, and incredible. And that's absolutely okay. And it's nice for them to have a bit of that. But with that, I try and bring reality in. And so when I ran a few sports sessions with them around just the basics of karate and a little bit of Komodo, I did make it more real, and I explained the importance of being safe, of using your body carefully, of not getting injured. So you've got to have that balance, I think, is what I'm trying to say.
And as a school teacher by trade, understanding the body and how it works seems to be very much a focus of when we have these conversations, using it in a way that is practical and creates longevity in your training as well. So where does traditional hojondo, especially I'm thinking makiwara, nigirigami, all of those sort of things, where do those figure into your training, and what's your impression of them?
Okay. Really, really important, I believe.